and it did. This is the issue that we having. So I think it's not a day of celebration because she still lived to be 88 years old, but it is a day of recognizing, you know what I'm saying, their queen mother is out. You know what I'm saying? And that gives me a good feeling.
Right, me too, man. You know what I'm saying? I hope they burn in hell and die slow.
And passing the baton aspect, you know what I'm saying? I think that we need to relay these thoughts and these messages to the younger folk, because a lot of younger folk may feel like we've passed that situation. And she was never tried and convicted of none of that, even though she said she lied. So we couldn't be past that situation if she didn't go to jail, while Bill Cosby did.
Right, that's real. Right. What's up, Mike Chambers? Man, everybody's brother Mike Chambers. Another one of the Avengers down here. Good brother, man. You know what I mean? All these brothers good.
Mike Marvel in the building.
Say that again.
What's good, fam?
What's good, brother?
Peace,
Mike
brothers.
Chambers.
How y'all feeling?
It's the brother Abdullah SHABAZZ and the rest of the brothers from out the Shy. You know what I'm saying? They have the same mentality as us. So, man, you know, and really the topic is about passing the baton down to our people, man. So, brothers collaborate on that. You have anything to say, brother Knowledge?
Passing the baton is very important, you know, because a lot of people do not really, the young people do not really recognize and really recognize the fifth element of hip hop, which is knowledge.
Right.
And we got to keep passing the knowledge. I understand the DJing, I understand the breaking, the graffiti, I understand the MC, but the knowledge was the fifth element. Was very important because hip hop was the voice of the voiceless. And as we begin to do what we have to do as far as hip hop, and this is its 50th anniversary this year. And you know, if any of you brothers who want a t-shirt, just let me know. I'll send you a 50th anniversary hip hop t-shirt, you know what I'm saying?
Right. Hey, Knowledge Born. Hey, Knowledge Born, I don't mean to cut you off, bro, but me and Stacks Pope, we doing a performance at the end of May.
Yes,
on the 50th anniversary of hip hop. So, bro, I love to wear your shirt at that event.
No, it's not my shirt. It's the original 50th anniversary t-shirt. Yeah, from LL Cool J.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
And hey, Abdullah, this is my business partner. You met him at the you and I.
Yeah, I mean, Knowledge Born. Yeah.
But he the one who I designed the t-shirt, but he the one who make it for me. So you know what I'm saying? It's like that. So you know what I mean? So that's the product that he made. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but the fifth element of hip hop is very important to our people and our culture, and definitely is something that we need to put in stone everywhere we go, and really pass that torch. Because if we don't let them know what it is and what it used to be, it will never become what it should be, you know. And I know we don't have the promotion, the marketing as the ones who come up under contracts and who's been promoted by these Jews. But at the same time, we definitely got to speak truth to power, and we got to speak truth to righteousness, and stand on what we believe and do what we need to do as far as hip hop, if we are serious about hip hop. I'm not saying you brothers are not, but I'm saying some people get into hip hop and they're not serious about it. You know what I'm saying? Knowledge is the key, you know, and this is the age of Aquarius. And we got to stop believing into what they fed to us as far as hip hop, as far as MCing. You know, if we really was to take control of what happened, mumble rap wouldn't be here. So, you know, we really gotta keep boots on the ground, and passing the torch is very, very important and very essential.
Exactly.
I'd like to add, there's a group of young folk who might be tossed into the woke aspect, but they're beyond that. They have information and knowledge that at the age at their age, when I was their age, I was just getting it, but they getting it, and they're sucking it up and pushing it out there a lot faster and hitting a lot of people, a lot more people than we could have at that time, and what we can now. So there's a skilled crew that is in need of some sort of elder leadership. Not that they haven't, not that they're leading, not that they're following us, but that they, you know what I mean, our experiences are a necessity for them to, you know, grow off of and build off of. And we need to make that link, you know what I'm saying, now, before, you know what I mean, to show them that they have, you know, we can bum rush the show, you know what I'm saying? And they need us to continue to do what we're doing and show them in the time where their age rappers are killing themselves, dying, or shooting themselves, that there is light after, or beyond that aspect, and there is fortitude and gain in giving consciousness to the community, even if you don't see it right away. So I commend y'all for doing it. I commend my Venture brothers for doing it. And every time I get on stage, I always let the folk know I represent the fifth element of hip hop, and that's all you ever gonna get from me. It's all I ever gave, and I don't have no time to give anything else. This is not about entertainment. This is about information and guidance.
They coming to the concert. To the concert.
That concert, that's
Stacks, we can hear you in the background, bro.
Yes, sir. I'm here.
Good.
I'm glad y'all brought me on, man. Thank y'all. Thank y'all. Like I said, I'm upcoming artist. Like, I really don't rap. I do comedy. I host shows. I interview people. I model. I do everything. But Abdullah somehow got to find out that I know how to rap. I was watching one of his videos, and he told me, no, we was at one of his videos. At the end of the video shoot, he started playing beats at the end of it. And it was this one particular beat. And now it's a song we got called Lakeshore Drive. And we don't want award.
Video. Didn't y'all made a video?
Yeah.
Yeah, I seen that video, man. Yeah, I seen that video.
Yeah, he told me to go home and write a verse to it. And I went home and wrote a verse to it. And now it's Lakeshore Drive. And from off that song, we got another song coming out on his new album called Focus on the Grind. So, like he said, he's showing me how to do all this stuff. Now, I ain't know how to do none of this. Like I said, I'm a comedian and stuff. I ain't no rapper, but I'm getting more into my hip hop stuff now since he say I can do it, since he giving me the light.
Is he passing that baton?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, passing the baton, it's real.
Since he giving it to me, I'm finna go. Like, I'm finna go.
And Kenwado, the Alton, he the one that filmed and filmed the video, the Lakeshore Drive.
Oh yeah, yeah, it was a nice song and video, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, it should be dope, man. Word. We just got the brother John Hargrove up in the brother Bossy Kente.
Award for it. They brought tears to my ass because I ain't never think for no rapping I was gonna win anything, and we won an award for it. We got a Dub C for that.
Salute to you.
What's up, brother Hargrove?
Salute.
What's going on, brother Kenwado?
You know, race first. What's up, brother Bossy, man? How y'all brothers doing out there? Good to see y'all, man.
Salute, y'all.
Y'all got it packed tonight.
Oh yeah, man. This is where it's supposed to be, real tight, man. Real brotherhood around here, man. You know how we do it, man.
That's what's up.
What's up, man?
I'm chilling,
What's
man.
up, man?
Oh man, I appreciate y'all for bringing me in and embracing me with open arms. I'm one of the brothers, man. I'm just trying to make it. I'm just trying to do
it. Hey, you do it, man. I'm gonna say it like this, man. We don't mix try and do, because when you do it, you do it. You try, there's an aspect of you might fail, but you doing. So you ain't gotta say try. That's getting done, and you got an award for it to show and prove. You know what I'm saying?
That you did it, most definitely.
Because it's a necessity. You know what I'm saying? The music run the culture run the globe.
Yeah.
And when we do what we do and put that in there, you know what I'm saying, and bring in brothers like yourself, you know what I mean, who might not even been on it, but you coming into it and doing it from the proper standpoint, man, you know what I mean? It just fortifies the path, fortifies the wall, and make sure that you know, we keep functioning properly, because they're using this as a weapon. You know what I mean? They have weaponized it, and we have kind of, the elders have dropped the ball for the bag. You know what I'm saying? But you picking up the ball, and I'm gonna guarantee you gonna get the bag. You know what I'm saying? You're just gonna get it righteous.
Yeah.
Son, hey, I didn't mean to cut you out. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna go out and come back in. I'll be right back.
All right.
But like, I'm gonna say this. If this is the last thing I'm gonna say, then I'm gonna be a sponge. But at the same time, that's why we do our music the way we do. If you listen to any of our songs, it's very positive. It's words and none of that. And I've never been that type of rapper. I always got to say curse words. I always got to. But for some reason, with these last songs we've been doing, it's no curse words. It's very positive. You know, they trying to show it to the mayor and all this. Like,
right. You know what I mean? The good thing is that you can take this music and give it and do it like that. My brother Mike Chambers got a whole album. He ain't got no cussing on it.
yeah.
I like to cuss. I cuss. You know what I'm saying? That's what I do. I'm on my Tupac shit. So you know what I'm saying? And I say to him, like Pac said, if you offended by the words coming out of my mouth more than you offended by the actions that's going on in these streets and what the government is doing, I ain't the problem. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
My words ain't the problem. And a teacher of hip hop at Temple University, a class that I took, said this one time: the art of communication should be allowed to use every word in the dictionary, every word that you know, so that you can express your point. And sometimes, if you don't say certain things, it's gonna go over their head. They don't feel the camaraderie with it. But you know what I mean? There's also other times that we need radio play music so that people outside of the circle we in can hear what is being said. So I commend you on that. Prospect.
Yeah. Yes, indeed. No doubt. No doubt. You know, if I could add, you know what I'm saying, just a little bit. When I came in, y'all brothers was talking about passing the baton, you know what I'm saying, down to the youth. And true, we did come from a hip hop era where it was each one teach one, and our knowledge was the key. You know what I'm saying? Just certain words and phrases we would hear from different MCs. But I also heard our son talk about our mumble rap. You know what I'm saying? And when we talk about passing the baton, it even goes into the spiritual, because we were passed the baton from our ancestors, you feel me, as well. And I look at mumble rap sometime as a form of communication whenever they was trapped in, you know what I'm saying? Because different texts I've read, they gathered Africans from different tribes. So a lot of times they couldn't speak the same language. You know what I'm saying? They separated the tongues. So to be able to communicate through a sound, through a vibration, through a grunt, through you understand what I'm saying? To be able to communicate through a growl is some shit we've been doing for a long time. Whether or not they communicate in the proper message, you know what I'm saying? That could be contested, but just that form of communication. Once again, we can communicate through eye contact.
Right.
You feel me? As people, we read each other's body language. So there are many ways for us to communicate and to pass knowledge and information. So I don't really not mumble rap as much as I used to. You know what I'm saying? once, you know, I started thinking about it from a different perspective. And also, if these youth are the ancestors returning, some of the ancestors were straight hell raisers.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think it's to vet you back off of your point. I think it's plus and minuses in that.
Oh,
and
yeah,
I think some of the pluses are they being taught the proper way, like Sunday Oughta said, are the elders failing them? And which frequency are they spitting from? So if they spitting from that lower level, then we dealing with degeneracy. Because okay, you know, it's like we look at who was some of y'all influences that really made y'all want to rap, and what was it about them? With me, I'm a Pac disciple, so I'm gonna say it was a lot of his songs, but Pac was the embodiment of it all. He made it cool to be able to talk to women. You had songs like "Can You Get Away?" You know what I'm saying? You had songs where he did say, "Wonder why they call you bitch," but it was an expression of explanation. With that degenerate form, it's a reckless form of calling bitch for no reason. It's a degenerate nature. It's a misplaced energy. I'll say it like that. And to Sunday Oughta's point, that's where us as the OGs have to help them find that guidance instead, like what you're saying, Mike. Instead of us bashing them, we kind of got to help them find that middle ground of understanding themselves and the message become clearer. Because to me, hip hop and rap was about the poetic expression, about the lyrics. You know, because right now we'll all say, well, I guarantee you, we ask like to say, well, who is in your top 5? We're gonna have similar ones, but we're gonna have some different ones. And then we say, well, who you think the most lyrical? Then we're gonna definitely probably have different ones. But when we saying lyrical, we're talking about some of the lines, the bars that they form. Because even in that, even in some of these young homies I listen to, you know, I got a son that's 26. So even in some of them, he'll have me listen to some of them. There are some lyrical little homies that we really don't understand. You know, so I think us as the OGs, we got to kind of like give them the game. To Sunday Oughta point, we got to kind of like show them the way and show them what lyrics sound like without sounding like the old grumpy man in the room.
I like being old grumpy guy too, though.
Yeah, you know the one where back in my day, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. My day we didn't do it. Well, it ain't your day though.
You know what I'm saying?
I think one aspect you could do with that is what I'm currently doing. You have to get actively involved around the younger people. Meaning you got to have a true active presence around them, and they have to see the difference. You know, and that's one of the differences I've done here in Chicago. Like I'm constantly on the scene here. I'm constantly making my presence known. And when younger people see, okay, this brother is true MCing, because yeah, he got that old school flow. Because my influences growing up in the 90s was Nas, Wu-Tang. You know, then being around my older cousins and my uncles, learning about Rakim, learning about KRS-One, learning about X-Clan. And so in the 90s, I saw a mixture of that Pac, that Biggie, that Nas, you know, being from Chicago, seeing Common, seeing Twister, seeing Crucial Conflict and all them. So I'm getting a different variation of different sounds, influences. So it's shaping the dynamic of me doing my thing growing up. Now, as I'm getting older, now I'm seeing the younger generation take shape. And one thing I gotta give this newer generation for, man, if it weren't for the internet, if it weren't for social media, I don't think I have a career right now. And so being able to use technology from the intellect that these younger people have taken advantage of, while at the same time being around them, seeing what works for them, seeing what their strong points are, while at the same time giving them a dose of the history, So, and I give you another example.
Right.
When I see younger artists perform, I always pull them to the side and say, hey, bro, I like what you're doing right there. However, I think you can sound a little bit better doing this, and that, and third. Because, you know, yes, I'm an MC, but first and foremost, before I ever MC, I was a fan of the music that later became a student of the culture.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's one thing we as older brothers can do for our youngins out here, you know, having that active presence, man, because it means a lot to them when they can see you so that they'll be able to feel you.
Right.
Yes, sir.
I like to add too that if it wasn't for the decline in rap and hip hop as a culture, it wouldn't give us the opportunity, because when I was coming up, you know what I'm saying, you had to be different, you had to come with something, you had to be super skilled to even get heard, because everybody was nice, you know, and the people who wasn't nice and was just doing the party rap still had something with them. But every album had 2 to 3 quote unquote conscious knowledge songs on their album, including Redhead Kingpin from back in the day, the dancing dude. He had conscious on there. What's my man? Cool G Rap.
Shout out to Redhead.
Cool G Rap had consciousness on there. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate, and like the brother Mike was saying, I have come to appreciate what they're doing as a different form of hip hop. It was just up to us to influence them in a different way that we didn't, because our generation gave a mom and dad crack.
Right.
So what do you expect them to sound like? You know what I'm saying? But even in their mumbling, when you ask the young ones what they saying, they know every word that's coming out their mumbling mouth. And then they tell me what they said. And once they tell me what they said, some of them got skilled. Like, for instance, 2 Chainz. 2 Chainz can rhyme his ass off, but he ain't rhyming about the right shit all the time. Sometimes he say something. You even get a Lil Wayne saying something when they have the right influences around them. So we got to take it like reggae music. You got roots and you got dance hall, but them dance hall cats don't diss the roots cats. And the roots cats tell them they slacking, but they still, you know what I mean, give them some support. And so as hip hop and rap has gotten and pulled from the island music, you know what I mean, we have to use that as the same kind of tool and same blueprint, and say, hey, listen, we see what you're doing, like you're doing in Chicago. You could do this and could add this, and did you know about this? Because once you start giving them the information, they ain't gonna have no choice but to rhyme about it. They're gonna put it in their rhyme. And if we can stay strong with them, they'll stay strong on it. If we falter and we back up, they're gonna look at us like, man, see, y'all can't even hold it, why would we? So, you know what I mean, the more that we push out, the more that we flood, and thank God we got the internet, because it's the same situation, brother. If we didn't have the internet, y'all wouldn't know nothing about the music we doing, I'm doing, Vengeance is doing, none of that. Because, you know what I mean, we would have to go back to the record labels, and we would have to be like, yo, could you sign us? And now we begging the slave master to enslave us again and keep our masters. You know what I'm saying? So, you know what I mean? They have shown us the way to be heard. Now we got to give them the properness so that they can say what needs to be heard after we're done doing it. And I don't plan on stopping for another 20 years. So, you know what I mean? Just to add to everybody's situation. Yeah, I ain't trying to take up everybody's time though. You know, it's traffic. You know what I'm saying? Right? Yeah. And I will talk all night. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I'm gonna shut myself up.
If I could say one thing, I think that yeah, peace and love, y'all. Yeah, just got on. What is really dope about this time in this era with technology and the internet is that now, like, I'm 34. Like, for me, like, with like artists like in the like early 90s and like the late 80s and stuff, like Wu-Tang and all of that. That was stuff that I was hearing when I was a kid, kind of coming up. But now I can go back on YouTube and listen to all of that like old school music, all of that KRS-One, all of that old school Nas. I can go back and get that and catch myself up with it. So like me as a hip hop artist, I have no excuse not to know like what the veterans was about, like what the legends was on. And I think that what a lot of people have trouble with in hip hop is really like finding out how to be themselves, right? You know, and do that organically. Like we all got a message, we all have something to say. You know, hip hop is art, so we all are painting a picture. But some people, you know, paint pictures better than others. It's the same thing with how we word those lyrics, how we put them lines together. That stuff's really important. And we just gotta remember to like respect the youth, respect the shorties and what they do. Like even if we don't exactly connect with what they got going on, still just be respectful. And like Abdullah said, be able to lend like some advice, you know, when it's necessary and when it's needed, you know. So we just got to show them respect and show that we being ourselves and not trying to be like them. Like you got like some older artists now that they trying to get on these trap beats, but still say conscious stuff on low vibrational beats, trying to communicate a message, and it's just not doing it. It's starting to sound kind of corny, but we trying to get on that beat so it can reach the shorties and reach something mainstream, but it's not working. And that's still not being yourself. People need to find out how to be themselves, you know? Yeah.
I definitely agree.
I agree with that.
Hold on. Wait a minute. Let me say one thing about hip hop, and as far as beats are concerned, that's the one thing that make an MC to be able to rhyme over any type of track. Now, as far as and versatility within the styles and the wordplays, to say originality right now in hip hop is, if you ain't come out in the 90s, if you ain't come out in the 80s, because even some of the acts from the 90s copy some of the things of the ones who came, you feel me, before them. You know what I mean? It is natural for peers to be influenced by other peers. Hip hop is the only musical genre. Hip hop is the only culture that can take music from any other culture and touch it the slightest and turn it to hip hop. It could take rock and roll, it could take country, it could take jazz, it could take African drum beat, it could take Spanish, it could take Celtic, it could take Calypso, it could take any type of music and put one little twist on it and make it hip hop.
Yep.
So that's one thing we need to stop doing, is limiting how and when and how and who and why hip hop should be done. Because as you stated, we are all artists and we are all painting verbal pictures. We all have the opportunity to express ourselves in many different ways. You know what I'm saying? The same way the weather change every day, I can change my expression if I'm comfortable with it, as long as it fits that individual. And you could tell when it fits, because then we say that's a natural.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
I'm glad.
I think also what we got to look at before I lose my point is like the younger brother was saying about, I think we have to learn how to bridge the gap, because a lot of times we feel like it's just the older generation that's criticizing. And he said something key. you know, kind of like that respect. But if we listen to a lot of these young homies, they don't respect the Nas's. They don't respect the KRS-Ones. You know, they kind of got like, cause like he said something key. He said he has access to all hip hop. And you know, he basically was saying he don't have no excuse not to know the forefathers before. So I think in the bridging of the gap, instead of always thinking it's the older brothers with the issues, sometimes the younger brothers aren't receiving what the older brothers are saying because they're saying that it's a new day now. But like bro Mike Chambers just broke down, that it encompasses it all. So we don't have to like pick and choose, as long as we're doing it because I'm ATLing. So one of my favorite artists is Andre 3000, and he embodied all of that what Mike was just breaking down. So I think we got to figure out how to bridge the gap so we're not looking at we criticizing or we're against each other.
But
it's when we criticize that we cause more of those degrees of separation, because you got the young kids is looking at us like, well, they old and they outdated, and we looking at them like they don't know shit. And so there's no respect there. And hip hop started as that common ground of respect and community to express ideas. And, you know, mainstream and violence and, you know, all that stuff kind of came in and, kind of blurred them lines. But getting back to what it was about community. So we got to show the respect there. That's important.
But can I say something? Because I noticed like in hip hop, like you didn't hear like artists like EPMD, this on Grandmaster Flash and stuff. They didn't disrespect them, but we got kids today disrespecting the brothers, the older brothers that's out now. So how did that come about? Because them didn't diss on Grandmaster Cash name. They gave him the respect. You know what I mean? Or Slick Rick. You know what I mean? So how did it become to where, you know, the younger generation started to diss the current generation, you know, started to diss Scarface and stuff like this. Scarface didn't diss Stone Cool Mo D. They gave him their respect. See, that's what I'm saying.
I think the element of battle rap was lost. I think the element of understanding real solid battle rap and not disrespect is just like you bring your lyrics. And I think once like a lot of disrespectful diss, because everything is like ops, man, going at each other. And the sensationalism, but
I don't mean to cut you off, but I'm not talking about out that aspect. You'll hear somebody like NBA YoungBoy, whatever, a diss on a brother like Scarface. Scarface never dissed on Grandmaster Melly Mel. They gave him his props. That's what I mean. The younger generation. Go ahead, Sandy.
The action of talking about, like, you know, the OGs, how you disrespect the OGs and how you become that the OGs, like they ain't do nothing. They the reason why we doing this. They the reason why we know rap. So I could do something wrong about them, but there have been people talking about they better than Pac and all this. Like, how could you be better than Pac? Like, even me right now, like I'm probably the youngest in here, but I know I ain't better. My influence will never be how Pac influence was. First of all, because what he was on. I ain't known that. Secondly, like he touched the whole world with his, bro. Like he touched not just the West Coast, not just the East Coast. He touched everybody. You see what I'm saying? Like everybody in this panel talking about Pac, their favorite rapper. I know I never had that. You see what I'm saying? So that's what he's saying. Like, how could you disrespect that? You see what I'm saying? Like,
and he's saying, how did that start? How did that come about? Yeah. And I feel like it came when the shorties lost the respect for the OGs. And when the OGs felt it, in a sense, they didn't have to have any responsibility for how the shorties came up. Yep. Like it's a lot of people out there that's like, oh, you a mama's boy, so I don't really fuck with you. So I don't really feel like I have to have any connection on raising you with any solid values. And if you think about some of the art, like not every mainstream artist is like this, but you got a lot that really ain't done a whole lot for some of the young guys coming up in their city. Like Master P is different. I feel like Jay-Z done gave some people some opportunities. I think Common is giving some young people here in Chicago a few opportunities, but it ain't everybody that's really pulling the youngins up.
But it's like you said too, brother. It's about the respect. You know what I'm saying? And respect is a two-way street.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And we can even think about growing up. There was a certain age, there was a certain respect that came with age.
Right.
It didn't matter if that age was doing right or wrong. They felt as if because I'm of age and you're younger than me, you got to listen to what I say. And a lot of times, unfortunately, they were using that to abuse the younger ones, to disrespect them. I'm older than you, I could kick you in the ass and you can't say nothing. I'm older than you, I ain't gotta listen to you, young boy. So
This my
that's where
father,
the
this my
disrespect
dad, right?
came from. So that's where the disrespect come from. And you cannot disrespect someone to that degree and then expect them, once they become a man and they nuts hang, to respect you.
True.
Understand what I'm saying? Because now I'm my own man. And if I'm my own man, as you telling me to be my own man, I can't let you son me constantly.
Right.
It's things that we're gonna come into clash with. This is what I be telling my
Right. But
all the time.
respect,
Like,
though, it's a
I've been
way
in
to be
Chicago.
respected.
I've been in Chicago for the last 10 years. And it's a lot of things that I done learned in my 20s, like without him. So when we have conversations now, he want to come back and kind of talk down on me, like being all fatherly, but there's things that I know too. And he don't want to hear that, as if I don't know anything. Right. So I be feeling disrespected. Like, I'm hearing you, Dad, but you acting like I don't know.
Hear me.
And this whole thing, like, I know so much. I've been here. My bad.
Let him teach you, though, bro. Let him teach you something, bro. I had to learn that, bro. That's all he trying to do, bro. He understand you know stuff, but he wasn't there when you learned that stuff, bro. He wasn't there
But
when
at
you
the
learned.
same time, though, listen, though, we learn from the youth too, because the brother just said, thanks to the youth and their way of working technology, I learned that from them. So
you know, I
once
think
again, it's
another
a
thing
two-way street.
I think another thing we as younger guys, and you brought it up perfectly, Mike Chambers, is that a lot of older guys think because they're of that certain age that they know it all. And so if you're a youngin', you can't teach me a damn thing. And I'm gonna tell you something. My teaching pattern is this. I am the example, but by being the example and being part of a leader is learning from those who are either within you, around you, underneath you, or younger than you. You can't call yourself a leader and think you know everything and you got people around you that probably know more than you. You know, I learn from these short. I learn from my youngest. You know, every time me and Stacks folk have a conversation, one thing I love about my brother, that brother got a supportive woman on his team. Something I'm yearning for in my personal life. One thing I've learned from Velcro, his commitment to his craft, which has elevated me on a personal level to enhance myself as a man. Same thing I love about Brother Oates. Race first, he loves his people, he's committed, incredible father. And even he's older than me, but at the same time, I've inspired him to continue on his path of greatness as well. So I think one thing we as older guys got to realize is that, we may know more than we think we may know more than our younger shorties. And that's true to an extent. But we also got to remember at one time when we were coming up, we were learning the game too from our elders as well. And you're right. If you're not showing the right way and being on a righteous path, when I come of age, don't expect me to give you that same respect, you know, by coming at me with the disrespect you were showing me growing up. And that's one aspect I saw growing up here in the 90s that a lot of youngest lost. They we looked up to our elders, we looked up to our uncles, our older brothers, our fathers growing up, and then when we saw them going the wrong path, we was like, fuck them, we're not going down that path. Because they dropped the ball somewhere. And so and I'm gonna let my bad.
No, I thought you were done. Go.
It's just that now that some of us who have grown, grew up through that, and we know the difference. Now we want to be able to not follow some of down paths our elders may have, you know, succumbed to, but at the same time, I'm just that type of person. I can't look down on the younger generation because I know what that felt like to not get that same type of respect in certain aspects. But at the same time, I know what it's like to get that knowledge and teaching growing up. And that's my piece.
Yeah. I like that. Say it like this. I got a line where I say in one of my songs, they think we think they lazy. They think we dumb. You know what I'm saying? We think that they because they get everything real easy and we had to work for it, bust our butt. We had to sweat blood. We didn't have that. You know what I'm saying? I'm coming up where I'm still, you know what I mean, seeing the ramifications of the 60s in my world.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so my experience is a little different, but I have my experience to give them, and I made it past where most of their people ain't even making it to 30, 35.
Right.
They're not gonna make it to 20, 28. You know what I'm saying? But I'm still here. So what I like to do, and I'm probably one of the oldest, if not the oldest person on this whole joint right here. What I like to do.
You ain't older than me, Santiago.
I think I am. I was born in 71.
Younger than me, man.
I was born in 71, man.
And I was born in 70.
All right. So you still 70, so you got it. But I'm one of the oldest, you know what I'm saying? But what I'm saying is I don't like to approach anybody on I'm better or because I'm here longer than you. You know what I mean? You should just listen to me. I want to hear what you got to say. You know what I'm saying? Whoever you are at any age. You know what I'm saying? I was brought up, you know what I mean? And when I was younger, I used to say things to older folk that had them be like, oh, what? You know what I'm saying? Okay, you want something. So I kind of anticipate hearing that and looking for that in the younger folk so I know who I can pull to the side and say, okay, listen, this is what we do and this is how you get to them. I may not be able to get to them younger folk like you can, but since you can, this is what you need. This is kind of what we should know from me. Now, what do you know? So I can in better my position. And I got a song called "Bust Shots at the Devil" to address what the one brother was saying about, you know what I mean, older cats getting on these newer rhymes. It's a drill beat, you know what I mean? And I on purpose picked that beat. You know what I'm saying? And I'm saying bust shots at the devil. You know what I'm saying? Like you busting shots at each other, bust shots at the devil. But if you gonna rock on that demon time, understand you might get popped standing in front of that devil getting shot. You know what I'm saying? But I gotta talk to them the way that NWA talked to me. You know what I'm saying? And I gotta give him that way, but in the same time, and give it to them on a beat that they're now in frequency and tuning. But you know what I mean? I can, because I'm on a high vibing level, I can walk down on low vibes and not be stuck there. But for the people who live on that low vibe, they have to know that there's something higher for them to get to. And if they don't know that you can do this other thing on that thing, you know what I mean? They just gonna keep following along with that. Also, we have the opportunity to really build on ourselves when we talk to the younger folk, but I realize that the younger folk have grown up in a white privilege dichotomy. Like everything they see is white privilege. And so they kind of feel like they have the same privilege as the white boys that I came up with. You know what I'm saying? We knew we didn't have that privilege. You know what I'm saying? But they don't know they don't have the privilege, which has a double-edged situation. They should understand that they are privileged by being alive, by being original, by being, you know what I'm saying, here during this time. And they shouldn't abide by white lie supremacy, as I like to call it, their aspect of privilege. And that helps chop the legs of the future of white lie supremacy. You know what I'm saying? So I see it on that. But in the same aspect, they haven't got the knowledge and information because, again, like I said, we gave them crack. How can you respect somebody who got your mother on drugs, who got your father on drugs? You can't respect them like you can't respect the dude who locked them up for being addicted to something, as opposed to giving them some psychological therapy, help, and getting them off the drugs. You know what I'm saying? And when they cut down the information and the knowledge of who was doing that to get them out in the Panthers and Mutulu Shakur, which influenced Tupac, then they cut off our legs on how we can, you know what I mean, be the foundation and say, listen, this was getting done. And I was in a room with a bunch of young folk. I got 10 youth them, and they was, you know what I mean, ranged between 13 and 23. And I started informing them and asking them, you know who the Panthers are? You know how old? And I started telling them what they was doing. And then I said, you know how old they was when they was doing all this?
Right.
They was your age right now.
Yep. Yep.
What have you done in your community that you can even say is even close to any of the things that they did? Do you think that you could dig in your guts right now with your privileged self and get your hands dirty when it's need to, take the bullets flying past your head, bust them back? Do you think you could do that to the police? Not to the people who look like you, because you don't like yourself. And I was one of them cats back in the day. I ain't like myself. So everybody was in trouble. You couldn't, you know what I mean? I'm bringing it to everybody. I'll punch everybody in the mouth. But when I started really engulfing on who I was and where I came from, because some older cats had to say to me, hey man, you know who you are? You know where your name comes from? You know what this is about? Hey, read this. Hey, check this out. You know what I'm saying? Now it's easier for us. You don't know? Hey, what's your IG? Boom, I'm gonna send you all these videos. Check this out. Look at this. Then hit me up when you have a question. Let's talk about it. And be open to the youth to answer their questions. You know what I'm saying? And present questions to them, but also you asking them questions on what's going on now for them. Because if we don't know and understand what they're going through in their realm of understanding, then how we gonna be able to, if we stand it over, if we have overstanding, all we doing is looking at them and all they feeling is the finger pointing at them like, yeah, you don't know. You know what I'm saying? But I like to listen to all age of hip hop so that when I run into a youth, I can say to them, hey, you know about Coast Contra? You know about, you know what I mean, Corday? You know about J. Cole? You know about, you know what I'm saying? These types of things, and then lead them back a little bit further after they get that. Right. You know what I'm saying? Because these are skilled MCs who I respect their MCing. And these young children don't have a respect for themselves in the same way that we didn't have a love for ourselves. So now it bred killing each other and selling each other crack. They don't have a respect for themselves, so they don't have a respect for nobody else neither. So when we do show them that respect, like the other brother was saying, then we automatically create something that they haven't gotten, you know what I mean, when they were 0 to 7 years old. You know what I'm saying? And,
so to God, I give you one good example right quick of that. I remember when I first went in the military, I was 18, and I remember coming home, you know, on the wild. Now this time I'm in the south side of Chicago. I'm in the Wild Hunnies, and they call it wild for a reason.
Right.
You know, at that time, man, all my guys, they were Mickey Cobras, and all of them were gang banging. I'm talking about from 13 to about 28, all of them gang banging. But by me just constantly coming home, whether it was on leave, vacation, or whatever, and just, you know, working out by my, you know, first they were laughing at me. Oh man, look at Abdullah, he working out by himself, 6 o'clock in the morning, jogging, man, that fool crazy. To now they seeing me going all around the city and stuff like that. Next thing you know, I started taking the shorties with me. Like, hey bro, let's get off the block, man. Let's go to the United Center. But come to find out, they had never even left the block.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because by just showing them something different and talking to them and showing that you care, now they see something different. Bro, right now on this podcast, man, I'm proud to say probably about 80% of my homies, because some of them did, unfortunately, you know, they're gone. But about 80% of them young brothers, man, I had under my tutelage growing up. None of them gang bang now, man. All on family men, all on productive members of society, and they doing good for our people. And what I mean by doing good for our people, they ain't in the streets, they ain't causing trouble, they ain't selling dope, they ain't shooting nobody. They taking care of themselves and their family, and damn near all of them are married to black women.
Right.
Right.
You know, can I add something real quick?
Go ahead, brother.
All right. Like, I mean, it's very powerful for us building, like, with y'all being in Atlanta. I don't know do we have any brothers in other states or all of y'all are just in Atlanta? I know the brothers that's here from Chicago, like ABDULLAH.
We are in Atlanta, but I'm born and raised in Chicago. Knowledge from Chicago, East St. Louis. John Hargrove is from Virginia. You know, we from everywhere. Well, we all live down here.
Yeah, I'm from St. Louis.
Okay. Right on. And we
from St. Louis.
And the majority of us are UNIA members, right?
Yes.
Like, you know, back in Marcus Garvey time, like Black Wall Street, all of them, most of them was UNIA members, and all of them was business owners.
Don't forget the West Coast. The West Coast in here too.
Right on. And all of them was business owners. You know, they were able to set up like enclaves of wealth and build before they got destroyed by our enemies. So like right now, I would like to see us build like what we got. Like I know we say like we have to go to the Jews for contracts and stuff like that, but now, I mean, we have a built-in distribution just by being UNIA members. So we could set up our own distribution, like just by building together. We have brothers here in on the West Coast, Kansas. I forgot, did you say Kansas or whatever, or in Atlanta? So we got brothers all over this country, and UNIA members and all over this country. So we have a built-in distribution. So we should use what we have in order to expand.
Right. I agree with you, and I think it's a grand idea. You know what I'm saying? And it goes right in line with what Marcus Garvey had in plan. You know what I'm saying? It was the business aspect that really scared everybody, because he was bringing the money in and making something happen, and they didn't think that could happen. So I completely agree with you, and I will add, I know people who got record shops that if we had the right barcoding on our records, we can put 10 records of each artist in 400 stores. You know what I'm saying? And on the physical copy level, we can handle that aspect. You know what I'm saying? And until we had our own 400,000 or 500,000 stores, where we had our own situation as well.
I do want to add, it was a fella on YouTube. I think he's on Twitch and stuff like that, called DJ Academics.
Oh yeah.
And I will say this, it's a difference with the experience, it's a different with the coaches, and it's different also with different projects as well, because of certain levels in the so-called community or ghetto. But DJ Academics made a point. He said how can we respect the older guys? He said they broken, they dusty. And that's another thing too. Back during that time, they didn't have social media, so they couldn't grow and blow up how they should have grew and blew up. Shout out to LL Cool J. You know, so I spoke to his representatives and stuff like that, and he making moves where some of those people who didn't get those certain contracts or things of that nature, they doing a lot of business and stuff like that, so they can have money in their pocket. But one thing I do want to say, you know, DJ Academics make that point, and a lot of young people do think like that. You know, they be like, yo, they broke, they dusty, stuff like that. But during this time now, the age of technology, they have a lot of outlets, they have a lot of ways that they can make money. So it's kind of different. And a lot of young people, when I mentor them, they do respect their knowledge, but they be like, where your money at?
Yeah.
They be like,
I think that's real disrespectful, because
hold on,
them the brothers that paved the way for you.
Yeah, let me respond to that.
Go ahead,
That's
John.
what I mean by the disrespect, man.
the thing is, like, one thing we got to understand growing up in the era that we grew up in is it's going to be known as time goes by as the golden age, for a lot of things. We lived through the time period where people actually loved what they were doing, so they weren't emceeing or trying to be the greatest rapper just for the sake of the finances.
Right.
It was something that they loved and something to help them get out of the situation that they were in. Becoming a global superstar is something that just happens on the way. But a good correlation would be like sports. Even when you look at sports, a lot of our current sports fans don't respect the brothers from the past for the exact same reasons.
Right.
They quote unquote broken dusty, but what they don't understand is until certain individuals come around, maybe like a Jay-Z. I think when y'all were talking about names, I wanted to throw DMX out there. Compared to like a Michael Jordan, there's a certain era that comes about that makes the sport profitable, and after that time period, the money just kind of gets somewhat ridiculous. But before that, brothers weren't really getting paid to do what they were doing. So if a generation is only giving people credit based on their financial wealth, our elders will never get they'll never get that respect for the love of the craft, because they don't have the wealth to show it.
And I like how you used I like how you use sports to connect it, because if any of us watched that Last Dance documentary with the Chicago Bulls, we see that Scottie Pippen got robbed. Scottie Pippen got robbed out there. He was out there on championship team, barely making $3 million. But it's the knowledge of the game, and I like that connection, because if we listen, and it's very reminiscent of Willie Lynch, because you got the young slave versus the old slave. Yeah. And for DJ academics to use that term, it ain't what you say, it's how you say it. For them to say Dusty, when like Ken said, he's the guy that paved the way. So that's where the knowledge has to be, because everybody looking at, okay, it's even like the comedy game. We got all of these guys, and the internet is a beast. I love that tool of the internet, but it's so much of a fast way to make the money that it's a microwave, instant way, and it's no passion. So, okay, say we have these comedians. You got a bunch of ones that's internet funny, but they can't make classics like a Raw or a Delirious. You don't have that where you can do a memorable album or a memorable thing, because everything is so instantaneous.
Yeah.
So we got to look at the craft, and I think that's what's being the lost art, the craft, the love of the game.
But I think, one instance that comes down to the fan and the consumer, and again, going back to what we talked about earlier, we've lost that role as the consumer. We're not the ones that are buying the tickets, buying the albums, coming to the shows, packing out the stadium. It's not us anymore, so, it's they're not held responsible to us.
If I can venture that the game is entirely different. It's so different now. Like now, like players in the past are not getting played the same as the players now. Same thing with the rappers. Like the fan base is different. There's now robots out there that this is what I just found out. Like record labels, right? They will buy all the tickets from like Ticketmaster and then they'll be available. Then they'll sell them like higher and then like make a cap on it, then closer to the showtime for a lot of these artists. Then they'll sell them even higher and they'll buy it off Ticketmaster. And then like they'll just give it to people and it'll be like bots and stuff. So it's not actually like, it's not like real people buying the tickets, but the record labels is buying the tickets and making it appear that these shows is all sold out.
Yeah.
They've been doing that.
They was buying the albums too back in the day.
Yeah,
they was buying the CDs the same way.
Everything's like different, and it's kind of been taken away from us as the consumer. Like we don't really buy CDs like that anymore.
Right.
A lot of stuff is streaming, And then, you know, people you get on some of these people's videos and you be like, how you got 3 million views and I never even heard of you? I haven't even heard this.
Right.
Well, you know,
True.
So
it's a different audience.
Right, but it's like the brother was saying though, with the sports, right, and with Scottie Pippen saying how he was getting robbed because he was making very little, right? So how it works is these corporations get paid off your likeness, off your name,
your image,
off everything you do. If they give you a one of the smallest percentages, everybody gonna get paid before you.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So it's not like the money wasn't there back then. I read a story, old boy who had Virgin Records, right? He said whenever Rolling Stone dropped one of their albums, I'm not sure which album, but whenever Rolling Stones dropped one of their albums, he bought his island, right? Whenever Janet Jackson dropped her Control album, he furnished the island. So the money has always been there. Unfortunately,
listen,
you know what I'm saying? Contracts, we ain't know, yo, man, the pimps tell you if she knew better, she'd do better.
Right.
So they always been pimping the system for a long time.
But it's different.
These
it's completely
young boys
different.
because these young boys had watched old heads get pimped, and they learned the game.
And that's where the respect should be coming
and they
in.
taking
That's
ownership
real.
of their own likeness.
But you heard what Brother Son just said.
The respect should come in from that aspect because the older craft makers went through it and showed you what happens when you don't do and handle your business. And you know, when you in that turmoil, you find a solution to it. So we actually gave them the gumption to say, well, let me do it on my own and let me not sign with this label. Let me just handle my business because I saw what happened to y'all and I don't want that to happen to me. How can I blah, 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 blah. You know what I'm saying? And that's where the respect should come in because we took the bullet.
Hold on, brother Mike. Let me get a couple examples just real quick.
You got my
I looked up some numbers. Scottie Pippen, they said he had the worst contract in the 90s.
Let me get my
5-year deal.
I need something in it.
Brother
Hey, Mike,
Alton, I think your background coming through.
Yeah, mute the mic, Mike.
Nah, bro, that's not me. That's not me.
I think that's Alton. But yeah, Scotty had a 5-year deal for $18 million. And I just looked up Barry Sanders, 1993, you know, one of the greatest of all time. 4-year deal for $17 million made him the highest paid running back at the time.
Look at that.
Compared to Lamar Jackson today, just getting $260 million for, I think, 5 years, 180 guaranteed. So I'm going back to what Son said, you know, like if the younger generation can't pay homage, you know, to the brothers that went through this, it makes it difficult, you know, like a brother mentioned, you know, I think Brother Mike, you mentioned this, it's got to be a two-way street. You know, the elders have to reach back, but the youth got to reach forward too, you know?
Yeah, like I want to add on to that, Brother John. Like this shirt I got on right now. This my young brother thing out by another dope MC. I wish I would have invited him on here as well. Another dope MC. This is what I like to do for the young people, man. If you got merch and stuff out there, I support your shit.
Right.
I don't care if I'm on another person's podcast. I'm gonna wear your shirt. If I rock with you, I'm wearing your stuff. That's cross promotion. That's putting money in your pocket, and that's also giving you recognition whether I'm on another platform. And because I remember when I was 16, I was approached by an A&R at Social Death Records down there in Atlanta. She used to do this lady used to do my mother's health. So she heard me and my brother rap one day, and she was like, "Oh, y'all nice." And we was like, "Yeah." I was in a group at the time. She bring us over to her house. We perform in front of her. She was about to give us a contract right then and there. Everybody was about to sign except me. I'm the only one that refused to sign because I looked at the terminology and I'm like, yo, we can't sign this. We don't even know what the hell this means. And that caused me to lose a couple of friendships out of that situation. But lo and behold, when I got in my 20s, I knew my style of music would never work in the industry. But I always kept in my mind, once I studied hip hop was never about the industry. Hip hop didn't start in the industry. It wasn't created by no industry. It was created by us. And so that propelled me to want to stay independent. And I can honestly tell all you brothers, I own every single ounce of my music. I own the publishing, I own the copyrights, I own all my intellectual property. And what I've done in Velcro, and he can vouch for me on here as well. Bro approached me one day on IG. He was like, hey, bro, I see you, with your paperwork, what to do? I gave him the knowledge.
Right.
I gave him the knowledge. And I've done this for other artists as well, giving them that information and also showing them how to do it. Did it last year with this sister in Nigeria, that's on my album. She didn't know what being my publishing was. I literally sat her down and showed her how to do it. Now she finally got, approval of her own music and she owns it outright. And I think that's one way we can make that connection. Not only just pass the baton, but educating and showing them how to, not only with the knowledge, but showing them how to get this paper. Because if you can show me how to get paper, how you doing it from a younger point of view, hell yeah, I'm finna get aboard on that. Why? Because you got a certain level of expertise that I can learn from. I got a certain level of expertise that I can teach you, and that way we both can win in the end.
Exactly. And I mean, as a elder motivational vocal expressionist, I'm not even MC. You know what I'm saying? I like punchlines and all that, but I leave that for everybody else. I kick rhymes. That's what I do. So, but it was the last 4 or 5 years for myself that I had to learn how to do these things. I knew about the ASCAP and I had it, but it was the other things. And as I'm doing it, I share all of that information with my brothers who are older and my brothers who are younger. Like, yo, I just learned. And then they'll tell me something, you know what I mean? Like, oh, word, did you do that? Nah, what's that? So now we exchanging information for business purposes so that we can handle our own business. We can own our own thing. And now if I go to a label aspect, Atlantic was just hollering at me last week. It was on something. And I'm like, come up to see you, talk to you for what? I'm not going to sign no label because you got AI right now. And if I sign that label, you're going to take my voice, you're going to take my imprint, you're going to say something, you're going to have them write the rhyme. I got to say it because I'm on contract. And now it ain't going to happen. But what you can do, though, is you can give me that distribution deal where you don't have no say-so on my thing. You're going to make your money, but we get to rule what it is, and we get to knock out that lane. That's the only thing they can do for me. And as soon as we get to a certain status, they can't even do that for me. Because I just need 4 million out of this 8 billion. And we all eating. You know what I'm saying? And changing the planet, the vibration of the planet, the thought of the planet. We're going to run things. You know what I'm saying? So when I get my 4 million solid hardcore fans, you know what I'm saying? For me and my brothers, you know what I'm saying? With you in it, brother, you in it. You know what I mean? Because I heard the music. So I fox with you. You know what I'm saying? So, you know what I'm saying? When we do this, the whole aspect of the vengeance was to say, we can bust through a window with a fist better than we can with one finger tapping on that joint like, let me in. And once I bust through that window, I'm opening the door.
And brother Akil, I'm so happy, bro, that you invited me on here as well. And I'm glad we met when we was at HEC down there in Atlanta, man, because, I got to give you and brother John y'all props, man. And also Knowledge Born, you as well, bro. We came down there, Chicago, we Chicago, we gonna show out wherever we go. That's just how we Chicagoans are. But you pulled me to the side and said, bro, out of everybody that's been here, Chicago been showing y'all the most support as far as like buying from y'all as far as your merchandise and stuff like that. And we like, and brother John, when you gave for our division, our proper salute, bro. We just did our business meeting the other day, and I said, and I mentioned you. I said, man, I got to give it up to Division 421, man, because y'all showed us a lot of love, man. And I'm glad that we're an influence on y'all down there in Atlanta. And I think that's part of passing the baton and bridging that gap too, making that connection. Because I ain't know Akil till I got there. I ain't know Molly Born till I got there. But that instant connection was there because it's not about just buying stuff. It's about just brothers showing brothers enough respect first and foremost, and having that love for each other. And I think not only as Garvey, but as Black people, if we can demonstrate that more often, I'm telling you, these youngest will see that and they will want that more. And one last thing I'm gonna say, and I'm done talking, man. I want to give a big shout out to my little homie Nate Grounds, man. He came through, performed at my album release party. He a young guy too, 24. By him showing up and seeing how I perform, bro, back out here on the scene, killing it. He just had a show last night, man, and killed that thing, man. And I called bro. I'm like, bro, I'm proud of you, man. He was like, big bro, I'm glad you inspired me to do that, because you ain't have to do that. I'm like, bro, I do. That is my mission and purpose in life. My ancestors, Garvey and Malcolm, would have never been able, they sacrificed themselves for me to be here. And so if I have to sacrifice my time, or even just giving you a shout out, it don't cost nothing to give no shout out. It don't cost nothing to say peace, brother, peace, sister. It don't cost nothing. So if we can demonstrate that, man, you know, our people, especially our young people, they'll be on a good path of just, you know, making things even better. Because I want to be 70, 80 years old looking at the next 2-3 generations doing it better than what we're doing right now. And that's my piece, brother.
Hey, can I add something, brother? Can you mind if I add something? Because
go ahead,
you
brother.
Said something you had said something about distribution, and I kind of want to stay on there because I think we have to solve the problem of our own distribution. Because you know, like before we even go on, like the younger brothers already solving that problem, so we have to add on with our own distribution, because we can't be looking at these other people to sell our own culture. Like we got to go to them to sell our culture back to us. So I mean, that's a problem we have to solve, and I think that's a big problem. Once we solve that, we'll be able to move forward.
Yeah, I agree with you. The stories go like this. There's, I think, 2 separate times that the bigger companies, Black owned, look to handle that distribution situation. First was with Pac and the One Nation situation, and then was with Dame and
it was Dame, Jay Prince.
Yeah, Jay Prince.
Right.
Suge Knight,
and Irv Gotti. Yep.
They were gonna do that. Because this is such a powerful tool and weapon that they've used, they knew the music in the movies influenced more than the books at the time, back in '68 with the Curran Report. The Curran Report came out and they said the major problem in America is racism. And they said, but the young Black youth who are listening to the soul music and going and watching these movies and then going and getting these books are getting more education and information from that than they are from the school, and they got a higher IQ because of it. You know what I mean? Than the cats who are graduating school. When they seen that, they didn't solve the problem of racism, so-called racism or so-called white lie supremacy. Fuck them, they ain't really like that. But what they did was they concentrated on breaking up the aspect of what the music and entertainment was, and they shut down the soul music and gave them disco. And from that disco, you know what I'm saying, we came out with the hip hop, and they weren't ready for it, but they thought they had control when they put out Rapper's Delight. Sylvia Robinson does not get the respect she should, made Grandmaster Flash and Melly Mel do the message, which brought it right forward again to 5-6 years later. PE comes out, and then that shook the world. Now we were forward, and it took them 20 years to shut that down and put in what they put in, you know what I'm saying, or 10 years to start it, but 20 years to really, because when Puffy came out, he changed the narrative from the art to the money. It's all about the Benjamins when he came out, and they kept a foothold on the breaking up of the conglomerations, like I used to say, that would bring that distribution together. But because of the internet, and like you said, what the younger folk are doing, we now have distribution in our hand, and we can do something to a certain extent, because even that, they have that control over that, where they can shut certain things down, shadow ban certain people, and now if you're not paying them to do it, we can't do it. So we do have to come up with a more hand-to-hand situation to get it done, but it's not impossible. And these conversations that we're doing right now can lead into us doing that. So
yeah, and they have to. I mean, if we practicing Garveyism, they have to, because we can't say what because they're doing something what we can't do. We have to problem solve and say, okay, since they doing this, we got to do this in order to get it out there.
Exactly. And I completely agree. And I also want to say, man, when you're 78, you're gonna still be rhyming, brother, because I watched Ozzy Osbourne at 76 sell out in Allentown in an hour, and it was a 10,000 seat arena in an hour. Then he goes to the show, rocks it, and leaves. He's 76 years old, rocking. When I seen that, I was like, can't nobody tell me nothing about I gotta stop rapping at a certain age. If I can talk and I can talk over a beat, I'm smashing that track. And I'm bringing what I bring every time, no matter who's on the track with me. I'm gonna make that person, if you was unrighteous, you gonna spit some righteous shit on a track with me. Or you gonna look bad, bro.
You don't even gotta take it to Ozzy Osbourne. When I lived in California, I seen Chuck Berry before he died. He was at the Route 66 rendezvous. Chuck Berry's son had to walk him out on stage, but he still knew how to play that guitar. He was like in his 80s. He still knew how to play that guitar. He still knew all the words to his songs. He was, of diminished capacity. Now, speak on this. I was on the South Side at a Walmart today, organizing it. How about it was a man out there looking for pants, and it's like the ancestors led me to him. And he told me, he's like, do you know how old I am? And I was like, how? He was like, I'm 102 years old. And I didn't believe him. He whipped out his ID. The man was standing there in the Walmart, had drove himself to the Walmart, was standing there 102 years old. I got a video with him. So what I'm telling you, man, we made him more. And this is a brother. It's not a white man. And like nobody believed that the man was 102 years old. So it ain't no limit to what we could do, bro, as long as we keep our vitality about ourselves.
True. But I don't even accept death as, everybody you got two things, you gotta stay black and die, man. I don't have to die. When I transition, but I was built to be here for at least 1,000 years. So I'm working on my first 100 to get to my 1,000. I ain't going nowhere.
Methuselah line.
Yeah, man. And listen, man, I'm putting foot in the ass of oppressors all the time. In every line I speak all the time. You know what I'm saying? You can't even shoot me to get me out of here. It's not going to happen. I'm protected. Red, black, and green. When I heard that coming up from X-Clan, I embodied that. I take that. It's the only answer. You can't get nothing in this without that being the answer. You got to go through the red, black, and green first.
Hey, son, the great. When I performed down there 2 weeks ago, down there, what was that, Midtown?
Yeah, you was at man. I hate I couldn't comment, because we be doing shows at the Cat's Cafe.
I did race first, man. There was like 4 white dudes in the front, man. And Brother Omasius brought the flag out. He came on stage with me, brought the flag out, man. I'm talking about, I looked dead at them crackers when I was like, forget being niggas, we need to raise more Malcolms. Boy, you should have seen them motherfuckers, man. They were so pissed off. I didn't give a damn.
And you performed at the Black Dot too, then when you was down here.
Let me tell you what's really funny.
At the Black Dot.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. He was over there too. Yeah.
Yeah, he went over there. Then he had went to Cash Cafe the next day. I couldn't go. Me and Shelly, I'm say had something else to do, man. But he sends our people down there, man.
Yeah.
But it's all good.
Omasius took care of
one more thing, Santiago. We gonna close this out, brother, man.
Go ahead. In California, if you go out to when you're out to California, and I think the brothers in the West Coast, they respect hip hop and they respect lyrics, and it was the white folk who made Ice Cube go platinum with no radio play, and he was on Horny Little Devil, and he was on, you know what I mean, Cave Bitch, and I was in a car, you know what I'm saying, with a white chick one time, and that song came on. I turned it on purpose, like, yeah, and turned around, and she was singing every word of the song. She knew everything. Listen, it's their form of reparations to a certain aspect, and I'm coming to get their money and funding us. You know what I'm saying? But I do know that they don't have the blinders on them when it comes to the art of the word, and they don't have the hate for you know what I mean, like we do for ourselves when we tell us something that we know we need to hear that goes against what the status quo says. They know it. As a matter of fact, they respect it more. White people walk up to me all the time and tell me how much my Instagram, my social media is giving them information, because they just see the shit and they know, and they're like, yo, they don't. But I get arguments from Black folk about the music that I do and the words and the information that I have that I'm putting out there and I'm spreading. But the white people don't. They say to me, I'm glad to see Black folk like you who are doing it. And I ain't just talking about white folk who think they liberal. I'm talking about white nationalists, bro. Because they watching everything you doing.
Right.
They need to. They study the enemy. You know what I'm saying? And we the enemy to them. But when they see a formidable opponent, they just gotta respect it. The issue is we are so afraid of losing the crumbs that we got that we will not come together to do this. But when we don't give a damn about their pie, you know what I'm saying, we can cake up on the other side.
Right. I'm saying that, man, it was a dope show. Hey, man, brother Abdullah Shabazz, you know, we got the digits. They go to brothers down here, the Avengers. You can connect with them when you come down here. You send that email to the RBG Festival yet?
You gotta send me that info, bro.
I resend it to you again, the email, man, so you come down here and write down at the RBG Festival. You might come down to the Juneteenth Festival as well, but no, you and Sonata and Mike Chambers connected, man. I love this show. I love these bills.
We're gonna do some music, man. We're gonna do some music. You ain't coming down here again, and I know, and you ain't getting in the studio.
That's right. Hell yeah. That's what it's all about, that connection, man. You know what I'm saying? Us supporting each other. All y'all dope. I love all y'all, man. I love all my brothers and sisters, man. Everybody give out their information.
Hold on, John got something to say. Go ahead, John.
Let me say something real quick, because Brother Alton, you did bring up a great point, and I didn't want it to be overlooked. You brought up, Garveyism, UNIA. We are definitely active officers in the UNIA. Myself, Brother Kenwardo, as well as Brother Abdullah. So, when it comes to actually doing the work, we do that on a regular basis. I don't want that to be overlooked. In regards to your question and solution, specifically on distribution, that is part of it, but we got to understand that's only part of it. What we were talking about today is critical in every aspect. It's bridging the gap between the elders and the youth, and how do we, keep connection and maintain that relationship. When you look at Garveyism and what he did in the past, I will break it down economically into three different factors. One is production, producing things wherever you are. We have to, because the thing is, America is a competitive economy. So it's all about, the more you produce and the more you sell, the less someone else can produce, the less they will sell, and they will eventually die off. So the first thing is producing where we are. The second thing is industry, which included importing, bringing goods from other places into the United States. So again, it's about flooding the system with products from our own people. And then the third aspect would be what you said, distribution. There was a level of distribution in the UNIA, but it wasn't to what you're talking about. It wasn't like a a black Amazon or black FedEx. And I think that's where you're going with it. And we do need to do that. But we got to understand from a historical perspective, he was convicted for mail fraud, so that lets you know that he was still working with the system that was there and the system that was provided. Because if it was really the way it needed to be, we could move that information around ourselves. So that's the third aspect is having that tight distribution. But we have to make sure we got production, and we got to make sure we got industry as well, and maintaining this relationship. That's what we were talking about tonight. So I just wanted to say that. Thank you, Brother Kenwardo.
I already know, Brother John, man. My brother Abdullah, you can start out, give your information, social medias, website, the whole nine.
On Instagram, GISCLIK, Abdullah on Facebook, Abdullah on TikTok. And I want to give a special shout out to all my brothers that I invited personally. Salute to Mike Harris, who's also a Garveyite as well.
That's right.
Out there on the West Coast. We linked up when I was in Vegas, because I go to Vegas twice a year to visit family. Special shout out to my brother Velcro and Stacks Pope. We got a music video coming out Sunday, Focus on the Grind. So that'll be on YouTube Sunday. And a big special shout out to Brother Alton, fellow Garveyite up here in Chicago as well. And salute to all my brothers in the A, man. I gotta give y'all props as well, because I love the fact that not only did we establish contact when we were there, but we're maintaining and we're going forward. And so, if I was coming to Atlanta this summer for the RBG Festival, hey, I'm there, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna send you the information again, man. We know the organizer. You cool with the brother, man. You know what I mean? So, man, we gonna get you in there with the vengeance now, man. So you don't have nothing to worry about, brother, man. Word up, Mike Chambers. You want to get your 411 up, brother, man.
All right. You know what I'm saying? I don't have much info. You could just catch me up on Facebook. Mike Chambers. Catch me on IG. Mike Chambers Outlaw RPG. You know what I'm saying?
Spell like you see it. Spell like you see it.
Yes, indeed. Spell it like you said. You got to put them, you know what I'm saying, them 4 colons in there. You feel me? That come from my brethren back in the day, man. You know what I'm saying? That's one of them sovereign. You know what I'm saying? Them sovereignty lessons, one of them jewels from back in the day.
It is.
You understand what I'm saying? So you know how it go. But just catch me there. Catch me with the Avengers, man. Feel me? You got that red tape, that black tape just dropped, that green tape, mixed tape, that is red, black, and green. And got a solo project coming soon called Black Intelligent. Spirit 66. Shout out to Big Bro Malik Kalam. Salute.
Yes, sir.
Indeed. And shout out to Rebel of the Round Table.
Man, appreciate you, man. I love y'all brothers. That's straight up.
Yeah.
I try to support anything the Avengers do, man. Hey, I am one of the goddamn Avengers.
Yes, you are.
And I be on the stage
when
they red, black, and green flag, what?
That's right. You in the bylaws, bro. You know what I'm saying? You in the bylaws. That's already the rules. Facts.
You support the black people. You know what I'm saying? I support you support us. You know what I'm saying? Right. Big shout out to Brother John, which I just met for the first time at another function. You know what I'm saying? He was ending and I was coming to support Tut. But I have to be more active. You feel me? Like I was telling him, I've been a member since the Ros Marvin days when 421 first jumped off. Sure. You know what I'm saying? The first office back on Fairfield.
Fairfield, yeah. Office on Fairfield.
So you know what I mean? So I know what it is, but I really want to salute you brothers for your consistency and for your real boots on the ground all the time.
Yes, sir.
You know
boots on the ground.
Good thanks, no doubt.
Knowledge Born 7. What's your 411, brother, man?
Man, check us out on Vocal Dialect, VOKALDIALECT, Vocal Dialect. That's Instagram and Facebook. And check out my brand, Aesthetics Apparel, ESTHETIKS. That's on Instagram and Facebook as well. We got the Baruti joint coming up. Y'all
Guess
go
who
to
performing? Guess who performing?
Ben's performing.
Vengeance.
Y'all definitely go.
I don't want to cut you off. Not only Baba Baruti, we just added the brother Kalonji. Oh, man,
Yeah,
he
we
had
just
that
added
right up, man.
Kalonji.
Dude, you think I'm gonna say, nah, man, come on through. You know what I mean?
Hey, for the record, brother Kalonji has volunteered to be the Minister of Information for the Vengeance. You know what I'm saying? But we keep that on the down low. We keep that on to ourselves, except now you know. But he's a Venger. I ain't playing.
Man.
I'm grabbing everybody.
That
You know what I'm saying?
real in the field, brother, man. You know, you gonna be at the Georgia Tamika Festival tomorrow.
Most likely. That's the plan.
Me and Shelly, I'm set go be there. You know, yeah,
Yes,
man.
sir,
If y'all
yes,
brothers come on down, man, I'll hit you with the fire. Brother Abdul, you know, we got Baruti, we got the Vengeance, man. Shit, if you come on down, we go add you in the mix, brother. You already know, man.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
That's what it
Brother
is.
John High, bro. What's the 411, brother, man?
Well, hold on. Like, excellent topic, and I mean, we still got to continue to discuss it. Passing the baton to the next generation. Still work to do. Still, you know, as we said, we just gotta. I think the words that I like was respect and love. You know, on both sides. You know, we have to show that, and you know, hopefully, it's reciprocated. I can't say that we got to demand it, but y'all can reach me, anybody that's serious about Garveyism and organizing in the South, 678-631-9404. That's my cell number. And we've got Facebook and YouTube and Instagram, UNIA ACL Division 421. So just reach out to us. Appreciate Rebels, appreciate, you know, Chicago 401 as well as 429. Brother Abdullah, President Marua, President Clyde. You know, Marua be like a older brother that just keep bullying you, but he is right. We did get a lot from 401, and we gotta just show love and respect. We are trying to do our own thing, and we are in the South, you know, holding it down for the South. But as Brother Abdullah said, you know, we know it's a lot of history and knowledge in 401. I know that the people in Chicago may not understand it or appreciate it, but y'all really need to, you know, dig into the history books and understand the legacy. Brother Charles L. James, I think Sister Eleanor White as well was part of the first class. She was from Chicago, but it's a lot of good history up there. So just shout out to Chicago, shout out to the Rebels, and shout out to all the brothers on the panel tonight. Race first.
First. No, brother, man.
Thanks, first.
Brother, sound the great. Mr. 411, brother, man.
Hey, yeah, you know what it is. It's Son the Great. My IG is SUNDAGR and the number 8. My Facebook is Sundiata Brown, SUNDIATA BROWN. My phone number is 484-758-8489. One more time, 484-758-8489. I give it because you give me a call. Even if you don't get me, because I'm busy all the time, leave that message or give me a text and we're gonna build. The Vengeance IG is VENJAHS. Tap into it. We have a Bandcamp page, same name, Vengeance. Tap into it, and you mean hit me up about whatever. You mean let's get it popping. Proper propaganda is what I do. I'm full-time on it, and you know what I mean, and you know, we need to make this thing expand and grow. And y'all in Chicago, we in Atlanta. I'm from Pennsylvania, Reading. You know what I'm saying? I got ties in New York. I got ties out in the Midwest. I got ties in California. You know what I mean? And Las Vegas. So you know what I mean? We already got the distribution. We just got to put the legs to it. You know what I'm saying? I'm with it. You know what I'm saying? And this is what I like to say to people. They was riding the wave, but we a tsunami. And if you cannot walk on water, you cannot breathe underwater, or you can't swim real good, you gonna get crushed by the tsunami. So you know what I mean? And we walking on water and we can breathe in that, John, too. So it don't really matter for us. Shout out to my brothers, the Avengers. Shout out to Mike Chambers. Shout out to Andre 360, Nubian Bear. Shout out to Red Fidel. Shout out to Kentex Gadaquam. Shout out to DJ Tastic, aka Gostic. Shout out to Knowledge Born and Do the Knowledge Radio. Shout out to Rebels Roundtable and all my brothers here. You know what I'm saying? And wherever you see us, just know we putting that fight in and we ain't scared at all. Zulu.
Right, yeah. You can reach me at on my Facebook page, Kenwato Moore. Reach me on IG PAPPY404, as well as my apparel line page, KNS Apparel. It's nothing but red, black, and green on this. So check out that page. You know what I mean? And also, you can check out the website, KNSapparel.square.site, and also my Queen's page, Sun Goddess _sense light page on IG with all your natural skincare products, scent, whatever, everything natural. And also the Sun Goddess Sense Facebook like page. You can reach me at 470-798-8527. Race first, us. One love, y'all.
One love.
Peace.
Us.
Man, appreciate y'all, brothers.